Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Greeting and a very good morning. Professor Technologist Dr. Abdul Rashid bin Abdul Razak, Dean of Faculty of Technical and Vocational Education, UTHM, Professor Emeritus Dr. Jalani bin Mat Yunus, the Director of Malaysia Research Institute for Vocational Education and Training, MyRevet, Associate Professor Technologist Dr. Mimi Mohafiza Muhammad, the Chairman of TVET 2022, our respected speakers, yang berbahagia Professor Emeritus Dato' R. Technologist Dr. Wahid Razali, the former Vice Chancellor of UTHM, Associate Professor Dr. Fakorn Kiat, Vice Dean Faculty of Technical Education, Raja Manggala University of Technology, Thailand, Thailand, Dr. Nguyen Tan Tui, from HCMC University of Technology and Education, Vietnam, Associate Professor Dr. Jun Lee from Tongji University, China. Moderator, all participants, ladies and gentlemen. First of all, allow me to extend the warmest welcome to all participants to the Ravte webinar programs. Welcome everyone. On behalf of the organizer, I would like to thank all of you for participating in this program. My name is Technologist Dr. Yusmawati Yusof, and I am very honored and fortunate to be the host for this webinar. Ladies and gentlemen, before we proceed further, let us start our session by reciting Al-Fatiha. And for the non-Muslim, you may read your own prayer. Al-Fatiha. Amin, amin, ya Rabbal Alamin. Ladies and gentlemen, we are very honored to have the privilege to meet you in this webinar series. For your information, this is the first series of the webinar organized by Regional Association of Vocational and Technical Education in Asia, the Ravte. The webinar is also organized with the collaboration of Faculty of Technical and Vocational Education, UTHM, and Malaysia Research Institute for Vocational Education and Training, MyRevet, in conjunction with the World Conference of TVET 2022. Today, we are very grateful to have four prominent speakers with us to talk about fostering quality TVET postgraduate the program. As a kickstart of the webinar, with full of honor, I warmly welcome Professor Technologist Dr. Abdul Rashid bin Abdul Razak, Dean of Faculty of Technical and Vocational Education, to deliver his welcoming speech. Please welcome.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, and a very good morning. Associate Professor Dr. Somai, President of Ravte, and also the President of Raja Manggala University, Chonburi, Thailand, and also one of the speakers for today's webinar. Professor Dr. Senior Technologist Dr. Wahid bin Razali, our former Vice Chancellor, University Tung Chee Hon, Malaysia. Associate Professor Dr. Jung Lee from Tongji University, China, and Dr. Nguyen Tan Tui, Institute of Technical Education, University of Technical Education, Ho Chi Minh City, all the Ravte Advisory Boards, Executive Board from the Ravte members, Professor Emeritus Dr. Jalani bin Mat Yunus, Director of Malaysian Research Institute Vocational Education and Training, or MyRevet, from UTHM, Associate Professor Technologist Dr. Badaruddin Ibrahim, Head of Department Research Innovation and Consultancy from MyRevet, and also the moderator for today's webinar. All the committees, ladies and gentlemen, and Ravte members. First of all, I would like to take this opportunity to express my gratitude to all of you for participating this webinar, the first webinar under UTHM, especially under Faculty of Technical and Vocational Education. And for your information, before we go further, I would like to share the idea for this the first webinar under Ravte. For your information, we have an annual meeting last August in Bandung, And during the annual meeting, we have discussed and suggested, to have one platform whereby all the Ravte member can share, the knowledge, the experience, and also the best practice for each country. So due to that reason, so today we have make it and we realize it. And today, all the Ravte member, you have the platform to share your best practice, anything related what you have done in your university or your state or your country. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, we are honored actually to organize a Ravte webinar one and an event in conjunction with the 8th World Congress on TVET or World Congress on Technical Vocational Education and Training, or the short form is the WOC TVET. And the theme of this webinar actually is fostering quality TVET postgraduate programs. So we hope that this webinar will serve as a forum for sharing and exchange information on managing the TVET postgraduate programs. Our goal is to share current good practices to benefit higher education institutions currently offering TVET postgraduate programs around the world. I really hope this webinar benefits everyone and become a platform to strengthen our cooperation and also our networking among the Ravte members. Again, thank you all the Ravte Secretariat, the Mr. Presidents, the Advisory Board, the Executive Board, and all the participants for joining this webinar and your kindly support to make this webinar success. With that, I end my speech. Again, thank you very much.
Well, thank you, Prof, for the welcoming speech. Ladies and gentlemen, let's not delay any longer. Now we will turn the time over to the forum session. So please welcome Associate Professor T.S. Dr. Badaruddin Ibrahim to moderate the forum session. Dr. Badaruddin is the head of Department of Research, Innovation and Consultancy from Ravte. Well, Dr. Badar, the session is yours.
Thank you, Dr. Yusmawarti Yusof, our MC for today's webinar. Assalamualaikum and a very good morning to everyone. On behalf of the organizing committee, Ravte and UTHM, I would like to welcome to all the speakers and all audience to our first Ravte webinar series 2022. The title for today's webinar series is Fostering Quality TVET Postgraduate Program. Thank you to the organizer for appointing me to be a moderator for today's webinar session. My name is Associate Professor Technologist Dr. Badaruddin bin Ibrahim, Head of Department for Research and Consultancy at Malaysia Research Institute for Vocational Education and Training, Ravte. Together with us today, we have 4 distinguished speakers. Please welcome our first speaker, Associate Professor Dr. Somai Hifsaat from Raja Mangala University of Technology, Tanyaburi, Aram UTT, Thailand. Our second speaker will be Professor Emeritus Dato Insinyur Technologist Dr. Wahid Razali, a former Vice Chancellor University Tun Hussein On, Malaysia. We have Dr. Nguyen Tan Tui from Ho Chi Minh City University of Technology and Education, Vietnam. And also we have our fourth speaker from Tongji University, China, Associate Professor Dr. Jun Lee. For your information, our webinar session will be divided into 2 sessions. The first session will be a presentation session from all the speakers. I will invite our speaker to present his topic related to our webinar theme. And the time for each presentation will be 20 to 25 minutes. And followed by our second session, that will be a Q&A session from the audience. Audience may ask the question live to the speaker, or you may want to type your question in our chat platform. Without no further delay, let us move to our first session. Before I invite our first speaker to present his topic, let me briefly introduce Associate Professor Dr. Somai Pivsaad. Associate Professor Dr. Somai Pivsaad holds a PhD in molecular chemistry from Osaka University, Japan, back in 1998. His field of expertise is organic synthesis using transition metal catalysts, biodegradable polymer synthesis, molecular imprinting, polymer blends, polymer processing, synthesis, and characterization of composite nanostructures for photoelectrochemical functional materials. As a scholar, Associate Prof. Dr. Somai Pivsaad has published his work in more than 30 papers in journals. Currently, he is a president of Raja Mangala University of Technology, Tanyaburi, Thailand since 2020. In May 2021, he has been appointed as a chairman for Council of Raja Mangala University of Thailand, and also a president, and right now currently is president of Regional Association for Vocational and Technical Education, Ravte. The title of Associate Prof. Dr. Somai Pivsaad presentation for today will be on work-based learning model, forwarding Industrial Revolution 4.0 and Thailand BCG model. Without further ado, I would like to pass the virtual floor to Associate Prof. Dr. Somai Pivsaad from RMUTT to begin his presentation. Please, Prof.
Thank you very much, Professor Badaruddin Ibrahim, the chairman of our Ravte webinar series 1, Fostering Quality TVET Postgraduate Program. So I would like to ask Dr. Pakon to share the slide of my presentation. So this presentation is based on the work-based learning model forwarding Industry Revolution 4.0 of Thailand. And for the Thailand BCG model. For part 1, I would like to present on the Thailand demand driven of the TVET education. For the Thailand's vision of our Thai government in 2037, 15 years from now, so Thailand will become a developed country with security, prosperity, and sustainable independence with sufficient philosophy. So we have set up our security, prosperity, and sustainability. As you can see from this slide, that the nation will be strengthened on the security in every parts of Thailand, and also the prosperity for high income of our population, and the sustainability development and production of our country. So what is Thailand 4.0? So from the next slide, please, Dr. Pakon, for the Thailand 4.0, from the past until to the present, we have passed through 3 economic development models, starting from Thailand 1.0. For the Thailand 1.0, we emphasize the place on our strength on the agricultural development sector. And in the second model of Thailand 2.0, we focus on the light industry. So this industry will help our country to develop our economy from the low income into middle income status. And in the third model of the Thailand 3.0, so Thailand have currently emphasized the heavy industry for continuing the economic growth of our country. And then this is the time to develop into Thailand 4.0. For Thailand 4.0, we use various kinds of technology to support our industry with to become the smart industry, and also for our city to change from the Thailand 3.0 into smart city. And of course, for our people, we have to grooming and also to train our people into smart people. And then we have focus on the industry of Thailand for the 4.0. So we set up the new curves of the industry, and we call it 5+5 S curves of industry. For the first S curve is in the lower part. So we have strengthened on our agricultural products are comprised of food and agricultural smart farms, and also the industry of smart electronics, and also for the medical hubs, and also for the next generation of vehicle, and also for the food for the future. And another new 5S curve are the industry of biofuel and also biochemicals, and also for the digital economy, the medical hubs, the automation and robotics industry, and also the aviation and the logistics. To complete the strategic of our 5+5 S curve, and right now we have +2 S curves of industry. We have established the EEC. It is Eastern Economic Corridor. In EEC, they are located in 3 provinces: in Chachoengsao Province, Chonburi Province, and Rayong Province. With this, starting from 5+5 industry, and also we have connect to our ASEAN countries. For the EEC promoted zone, so we have designed into 21 promoted zone in 3 provinces, which comprises of 12 targets industry, as shown in this slide. In the right hand side is starting from the medical hubs, and we have established the EECI innovation platform. This is responsible for the NASDAQ of Thailand, and also we have the Eastern Airport City and EEC Digital Park and Geometric Thailand, and also we have established the high-speed railway ribbon front. To estimate the manpower that is needed to work in the EEC area with the 10 S curves and also with the 2+2 S curves industry. But you can see the number of manpower that we need, a lot of manpower, and then it is the responsibility of university and also the education institution to produce this skillful manpower to support this industry growing. You can see that the numbers are quite very much within 5 years or 6 years. We have to produce this manpower for all of this industry to develop our economy. For the EEC Model A, it is the example of the OVEC of Sattahip College model. So we starting from the partner matching, and we have training our students to be skill development, and we provide the scholarship and also the job opportunity. And this means that after they graduate, they will work in this EEC and to get high income. For the goal is the private academic partnerships. Well, the first one is the partnership, and after that we have recruit the students together and teach the student using the web-based learning course co-development with the industry. And with the work integrated learning, they graduate and get the degree and professional certificate. And also when they work in the industry, they have learned continuously learning in the workplace. So this is the example of the program that we have set up, the program of mechatronics engineering. In mechatronics engineering, we have developed this program together with the SNC company, which is located in the EEC. After we have set up the program together, how to produce these skillful graduates that are ready to work in the industry. And then we have recruit the students together between university staff and also the industry of SNC industry. And after that, we organize the teaching together using web work-based learning. We call this the sandwich program. Right now, we upgrade this program and we call this program, it is a premium course, which is one of the best program in our country. And after that, the student graduate and get the degree and also the certificate during their training while they are studying. For the benefits of this program, at first, for the university can update the teaching of our teaching staff and also to get the new equipment that are updated with the relation to the company. We have a lot of company donation. And second, the university have the experience of learning with the real work experience together with the university. And for the student, during they are studying, they get the scholarship of 20,000 baht per month in every month until they graduate. And with the support from the university and from the industry for the free dormitory and also for the transportation. And after they graduate, we guarantee for the job of the salary of between 25,000 to 30,000 Thai baht per month, which is very high, around 2 times or 2.5 times of the standard salary of the undergraduate or bachelor degree graduate. For the second model of EC model type B, it is a module of training or short course training. This is a non-degree training. The participant will get the certificate of this training. For the short course training, we have the objectives of to reskill, to upskill, and to disrupt, to study the result disruptive of new technology, to learn about the new technology. And then we have collaborate with the private sector, and we have set up the accreditation or lifelong learning. This is in collaboration with the EEC and to approved by the industry in the EEC. For the process, first, we have set up the course for co-development and also with co-funding of the university and the industry. And with this co-funding, the industry can use it for the tax incentive of 250% and cost reduction of the 50% of how to recruit the employees for working in the industry, and with the job guarantee of at least 6 months. This is implemented for the undergraduate level. And next is the digital credit bank system. This is organized by RMUTT for the choice of base credit system. This is the in collaboration with the Ministry of Higher Education, Science, Technology, and Innovation with the National Credit Bank system of the industry. And for this scheme, we can see that the student in formal school or in the informal school or other people who would like to have the self-experience, they can have enter the accreditation system and to enter to the digital credit bank system and study and accumulate these credits, and after that can transfer into academic degree in any program that we will support. For the next in the part 2, I would like to present the Thailand BCG economy model. So we have developed from the middle MDG into Sustainable Development Goals continuity and change from since 2001 to 2015 and to 2030. So this is the from the MDG that have objectives to reduce poverty, extend basic service in the poor country, and then we have focus on the development of 17 sustainable development goals. This is the main purpose from 2015 of the dignity of the to end the poverty and to fight for the inequality, and also for people, for planet, for partnership, for justice, and for prosperity. And this we have driven the sustainable development goal. For the report of the sustainable development goals in 2021, the number of Thailand from 165 countries, we are in the number of 43 of the SDG focus. And then these are the 17 SDG, and every university have focused on that strengthen on each SDG. At least we pick up at least for 9 ADC that we are strength in this field, and it is in accordance with our university strategy. Within this, we have drive our BCG economy, which is comprised of bioeconomy, circular economy, that is aimed to reduce the waste and for reusing and recycling of our resource, and also the green economy to keep the economy, society, and environment in balance. So this is will be linked to the sustainable development for bioeconomy, because we are based on the agricultural country. This involves in the production of renewable biological resources and the conversion of these resources, especially the agricultural resources, into value-added product. For the Thailand's BCG model, Thai governments and also our ministry have set up the Thailand's economic model for the post-COVID, which is comprises of the biodiversity of our cultural diversity, and also for the food and agricultural products, and also for medical and wellness, for the energy, materials, and biochemical, for tourism, creative economy, and circular economy, which are in according to the 5+5 S-curve industry of Thailand. For the BCG, to drive this BCG economy model, we have 6 dimensions. First, to enhance the Thailand competitive advantage on biodiversity, and we have a lot of natural products, especially from the agricultural products, and also for the cultural diversity. For the second is to connect of the sufficiency of economy philosophy, and the third one is to fulfill of the 10 SDG from at least 10 SDG from 17 Sustainable Development Goals, and to cover 5 out of the 5 targets of our S-curves industry, and to distribute the opportunity and wealth to regional and local community, and to collaborate with the university, with the research institutes, with community, with the private company, with the public entity, and with the global network. For the measurement to drive our BCG economy, we have 13 measures from the plan, the strategy of 2021 into 2027, with comprises of starting from big data until the local into global integration. So let me move to the part 3 of the BCG model for the case study that I would like to show you of our success in driving of the BCG. First is the utilization of the bamboo, starting from the upstream until downstream. So for the upstream, we have select the province, this name is Prachinburi province, which is in the eastern part of Thailand. We have used our knowledge to work with the community people for the collection of the local market of fresh bamboo to give high value added to the bamboo shoot products in these provinces. So from the next slide, you can see the bamboo database and demand supply of the bamboo production of Thailand that we have developed in Prachinburi province. And from this bamboo plantation, we had set up the database of the market of the bamboo, starting from bamboo stem and bamboo shoot until the products, and to develop the OTOP business of the bamboo of this province, and to support the new SME business of bamboo to be enhanced to be the bigger industry. This is to give the high value added. So we call it the new value chain of the plantation, and to develop products by themselves. For the midstream of the products of the bamboo waste, we have managed the bamboo waste into the production from this bamboo waste, and also to design the new products of the bamboo fiber and the bamboo mat. And from the this bamboo midstream, the bamboo stem can be produce the bamboo charcoal with high quality. So the Faculty of Engineering have support the people in the community of Prachinburi province with the discovery of the new machine for making bamboo fiber, to make the fiber of the small fiber, and with the high production of this fiber. And after that, the people can make the bamboo mat with the high quality, and this gives the high price of the bamboo mat. For the next, the faculty of architecture, also other faculty have helped the people to design the modern style of the bamboo products for support the local resource in Thailand. As you can see, the new design of the functional furnitures that made from bamboo, various kinds of bamboo products have been produced. These are the new design that we have, and with the calculation of the weight of the strengths of these new design products. For other products are the bamboo charcoal that used for food patch. This research have support the people in the community to upgrade and make higher value of these bamboo charcoal, and this is quite very successful for the start of the new startup of the bamboo charcoal food patch, and have already delivered in the market. So next is our successful in the development of pickle bamboo shoots. From the study before, the bamboo shoots must be fermented under the salt solution, but it could not keep for a long time, as well as some bacteria was happen. We use other new system of the making the pickle bamboo shoot supported by the faculty, various faculties of our university, and we have successful to reduce the salt for fermenting the bamboo shoots that can be reduced into 50 to 75%. Instead of using the salt solution, we use the to ferment it under the coconut the coconut juice, and this can reduce the picking time by 5 times by picking with coconut water. And also the pickle bamboo shoot with the good taste was accepted by the consumer, and also the price that we have sell in the market has increased for 6 times. For the downstream of the our program on these BCG economy models, we have support the community together with the government for the tourism development on the promotion of the OTOP products. So in this online market, and also for the disassembly shop, we have successful for support the community people with the database, and also for the website, and also for the Facebook, for the people how to sell their products, and also with the online shopping of the OTOP of Thailand of this Prachinburi province. This is quite very successful of supporting our Prachinburi province products of the bamboo, starting from the first of the upstream, the downstream, and also the midstream in every kind of product. As we can see that the production can be sold continuously with the sustainable value products, and also with the service of these Prachinburi province people. With this BCG model, bamboo is quite very successful that we can set up the new economy and also the ecology of our people based on the BCG model. So these are quite the successful of our university to support this province, and from that we have enhanced and extend our collaboration with the industry, especially with the new program of the ministry. It is a U2T program. It's mean that from the university we use our knowledge and transfer our knowledge to support the community in every province that located near our university. And every university have the same program of this U2T program. And we hope that in the next time of our meeting, I can show you the successful of U2T program in Thailand. So thank you very much for your kind attention.
Thank you very much, Associate Professor Dr. Somai, for his sharing on scenario on TVET education growth in Thailand, especially for RMU GT program. Next, we move on to our second speaker for today, Professor Emeritus Dato Insinyur Technologist Dr. Wahid Razali. Prof. Emeritus Dato Insinyur Technologist Dr. Wahid Razali will present on the topic of fostering quality TVET postgraduate program. Before I pass the session to Prof. Dato, allow me to introduce him. Prof. Emeritus Dato Insinyur Technologist Dr. Wahid bin Razali is a professor at UTHM. He is a specialist in the field of TVET curriculum and engineering education. He studied in civil engineering and got his PhD in engineering education from University of Manchester, United Kingdom back in 2000. He has been active in different professional bodies such as Board of Engineers Malaysia, BEM, and Malaysia Association of Distance Education. He started his academic career by being assigned as a lecturer at one of our polytechnic, Polytechnic Ungku Omar in Perak in 1983. Prior to his current position, he was assigned for different key positions at UTHM, such as Vice Chancellor, Deputy Vice Chancellor, Deputy Dean of the Faculty of Technical and Vocational Education, Dean of Center for Academic Development, and also he has been a head of quality management and corporate planning at UTHM. Having a different remarkable achievement in his position, in his profession, he was granted with various awards of appreciation from the Malaysia government. Furthermore, he has been active as a speaker in different national and international scientific forum and seminar and published research articles related on TVET in various journals. Without further ado, Prof. Dato, I please welcome Professor Emeritus Dato Insinyur Technologist Dr. Wahid Razali. Please, Prof.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. Can you share the slide, please? First and foremost, I would like to thank you that I thought that the whole theme of this discussion is about fostering quality TVET postgraduate program. So I would like to focus basically on how we should think of postgraduate programs that we have and how we should follow on with the current undergraduate programs and how shall we look into the postgraduate programs. Okay, next please. Thank you, Prof. Somai. I think you have demonstrated Thailand as, one of the most creative country in the world. Earlier on, I think in the 90s, we have what we call Thailand 1.0, and now that you have got Thailand 4.0, and that definitely is a very remarkable achievement in that sense. And as far as TVET objective is concerned, I think we are concerned with add-ons. Now that we have got a SDG to add on, and I noticed that Thailand itself, you rank 43 globally. Malaysia is much behind at number 65, and I was surprised that Singapore is at 76, being quite a high advanced country in terms of the technology. So things like greens and industry 4.0s is add-on. However, the main task of the objective of TVET remains the same. That's poverty, education, and have some impact on the economy. And I understand that postgraduate programs emerges in the 80s or 90s as a training for TVET teachers, at least in Malaysia, mainly concerned with the learning domain and less on the working domain as it is. And we see today that unlike in the 2000s, at least in Malaysia, the demand for such a program has been on the decreasing side. So this is something that is of our concern. Is it because that we are not anticipating enough, or are we not doing enough of, getting more, involvement and participation of our stakeholders? Yes, I understand that at the level of undergrad, I think we have done so much of this anticipation and participation. But I would say that at the postgraduate program, that we need to have more. And I think that for TVET program as such, serious thought has got to be, given to the design and how should we do the priority now. Next, please. And globally, next, please. Next, please. And at the global level, we see that everybody, organization like the United Nations, like UNESCO within United Nations, and also ILO, and of course other international body, they are, I think, delivering what is thought to be the best practices for the global society as a whole. For example, SDG is one of the things that is, being promoted globally by United Nations and also, of course, UNESCO. And we see today that Thailand, through RMUT, has done a lot. In fact, it has trickled into the society at large. So that's a good example of what Thailand is doing. Also, I guess that Ravte, in that sense, being a regional organization doing research, perhaps is doing the same thing. And also, institutionally, I guess university like UTHM is also moving in that direction. And I guess every university is going in that direction of how shall we, take up the challenge of what has been promoted at the global level by such international body like UN, UNESCO, and also ILO, and also many other organizations such as Ravte. And therefore, it is up to us now to see how TVET would continue on, play its role, at least within perspective of the new add-on to the original, what we had centuries and since many years ago. So I guess that this is our time now to think wisely with respect to how we should do things, especially with respect to postgraduate student. And I've shown here that the World Higher Education Conference lately is similarly promoting about the same thing, that is about SDG and also about access, about human rights-based approach to education, which means as well that we should allow access even to the postgraduate level of study if they want to. Okay, next please. I think looking at this, graphical representation, I would see that the curriculum work process knowledge is the core thing that we should, or TVET practitioner as such, need to address and at least to understand what it is. We know that everybody is moving very fast. The future of learning education is changing with the advent of what's going on with COVID-19 quite recently in 2019. Many people have shifted into the future of learning. Things how they do changes, things like that. And also, we notice that the future of work, driven by the mega trend of technologies and others on population, we notice that, the task of TVET educators, that's how do we connect the future of learning and the future of work. And this is the challenge, I think. We have done quite a lot with respect to, undergraduate programs. But what is our thought and ideation of what to do for postgraduate program? And in this sense, I think TVET educators should provide a correct bridging between these two extremes. And I would call it as edu-training processes. And I guess that one of the missing thing that I see in the process of having this future of learning and future of education and also future of work is about the domain of innovation. Next, please. And therefore, I would like, just to share with you that we have learning. If you see that the picture there, that we should always consider learners at the center of the whole thing. Learners learn, learners work, but it's sad to tell you that, or everyone that, and notice that TVET talent, TVET workers, at least perhaps my little observations, is less of doing innovating. And this is the domain that I feel we should strongly push on through into not only our postgraduate program, but also into our undergraduate programs. And one of the most difficult things is to address the issues of the dynamics of attributes, or what should be the learning outcomes of our learners. It keeps on changing. Of course, we've got the basic of, TVET students or TVET graduates need to have some skills, some knowledge. And what about others? Things like what we need now, like what is promoted into the 21st century of learning. There's about communication. There's about creativity. There's about collaboration. And of course, about humanity. And we can add on with X and Y. And therefore, TVET practitioner will have got to make sure that we understand and we can manage this dynamic of attributes with the changing of work. And this is quite a problem within the postgraduate programs or undergraduate program for that matter. Normally that we are much left behind in terms of, really producing what is the demand of the industries, because the industries move faster than what we are doing. And therefore, that is our challenge, and that's what I mean by anticipating what would be the attributes of the programs or of the learners itself. Okay, next please. And I think this is, I would say that this is the core of what I would like to suggest here. Why TVET community need a master and PhD? Do we need really? But globally, we see that we have got the level of qualification, or at least level of knowledge dominated by what we call the academician or the academic. So you see that what's going on now, at least in Malaysia or similarly in the Europe, is that TVET is largely concerned with level 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And now quite lately that people accept that level 6 is a TVET, could be considered as a TVET programs. That's why we have, at least in Malaysia, that or at UTHM, we are doing degree in pilot, producing pilot to drive our plane. So we begin, or the community begin to accept that bachelor is a TVET program, and it serves really the purpose, for example, of piloting the plane. Similarly, I'm now attending a conference on on railway engineering at one of our UTHM center or academy for railway engineering, and you see the question of level 7 and 8. Well, it is accepted academically that that's for academic or scientific purposes. But what is our thought as, a TVET community here with respect to postgraduate program? And what does postgraduate program mean for the TVET? So I guess I would like here to, not to propose really, just to submit my my thoughts to all of you here, that what is, or the best common international term for master degree for TVET should be that of as innovator. We lack in that. Initially, I thought that we have got the domain of learning. Yes, we have it. We got the domain of working in the industry. Yes, we have it. But on technology, yes. But on the innovating, I think that the higher level of qualification, that's the master, would have to take up the challenge. And I guess that why master degree should be focusing, master degree for TVET should be focusing on how we should innovate in the processes and also product that we have already in market. For example, that as Professor Somai just now, I see that the creativity of the people of the Thailand at the RMUT, that producing product to that level of acceptance in the market, that requires a lot of innovative and creative people there. And I guess that could be the key responsibility of the master that in TVET. And as far as PhD or doctor degree is concerned, well, I guess what we need now is a good entrepreneur, how to sell the bamboo products globally. So I guess, so if we could put strongly that the basis of the PhD or the core business of the PhD for TVET should be the entrepreneur, how to get entrepreneurship done within the scope of a TVET. So I guess that would be my understanding of what would be the postgraduate programs, like master or PhD for TVET. I'm not suggesting that the existing program is wrong or, need to be abolished. No, what I'm saying is that we should think into the future of what's next. What we're having now, that postgraduate programs for master and PhD is understood to be a higher level of thinking and higher level of management within a TVET organizations. I think that's done for. So I guess we should look further into the bigger picture of how we should support, the level 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, and 6. And that is, as I've said earlier on, that the core of the TVET is how do we change the processes of work? How do we make the processes better and better? So it suggests that perhaps innovator can do that, and perhaps entrepreneur at a doctoral or assumed to be similar to doctoral degree could enhance or at least support this ideation. Okay, next please. I think we have got the option here of do nothing, doing a small maintenance, and also what we call doing major maintenance or doing program development. That's we change. We've got to move on and do something different with respect to our TVET programs. So therefore, what would be your option? What would be your choice? It's up to you entirely. But I guess that we're not going to, the old programs of, master program as for managers and for leaders of TVET, I guess we've got to put, perhaps I thought that I would rather to have that on now, but to think of develop new program at a postgraduate level, how we can put on innovators as well as entrepreneur into our level of masters and the level of postgraduate, and that will push on into the relevancy of TVET postgraduate program in the future. Okay, next please. And I guess that a little example, perhaps, what UTHM was. I was the Vice Chancellor until April this year. So we had this plan of 2025 to have a digital TVET transformation. So this is entirely what I would say, what also we intend to do, what RMUT has done a lot on it. That's putting more into what we call technology and also innovation into the campus and making what we call institutions like UTHM industries and also technology and also innovation into practice. So I hope that moving on after digital TVET transformation, only then that we believe at UTHM that we could move on into what we call global technopreneur university in sustainable technologies and also transportation. And I guess that's a thought, and it's a thought that perhaps, I don't know. I hope that it merits some further thoughts into it and how we as a community of TVET really put our interest on how we should, get ourselves involved with the development of the work process that I mentioned. I think it is our responsibility to make sure that we change, or at least we improve the work process into something better, something quicker, that has some economic impact on the country like Malaysia. So thank you very much, and I hope that we could have more discussion on this issue. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Prof. Datuk Senior Technologist Dr. Wahid Razali, for your fruitful insight on how we can promote quality postgraduate education, especially in TVET. Ladies and gentlemen, I may ask a permission from the MC to have a quick break for a photo session. And then please turn on your camera. We will have a short photo session with all the speakers and all the audience. Okay. Technical, is it okay? Okay.
Perfect. Be hard and marginal by outside.
All right. Okay. Final page. Okay. All right. Thank you. All right. Once again, thank you to our two
Sorry,
speakers before.
Mr. Moderator,
Yes.
Dr. Badaruddin.
Yes.
May I interrupt for a while, Dr. Badaruddin? So
Yes.
interrupting.
Please.
Just to remind the audience that you may start fill in the attendance that we have already shared in the chat box. Okay.
All right. Thank you, MC, for the soft reminder for the attendant, for the audience to fill up the attendance forms in the chat platform. To all the attendants, again, if you have question with our two speakers previously, you can type down your question in our chat platform, and I will read your question during our second session after we finish with all our four speakers. You can also ask question live to our presenter or to our speaker in the next session right after this. Now we move on to our third speaker. We will have Dr. Nguyen Tan Tui from Ho Chi Minh City, HCMC, University of Technology and Education, Vietnam. She will present her topic on industry transformation and contribution of TVET providers in Vietnam. Before I pass the session to Dr. Nguyen Tan Tui, allow me to read her brief CV. Dr. Nguyen Tan Tui is a lecturer in psychology and education, working at the Center of Teaching Technology, Institute of Technical Education, Ho Chi Minh City, University of Technology and Education. Her major science and technology work is focusing on skills and training and development of teaching method in higher education. She have chaired or participated in recent years focus on model and approach to public-private partnership between government, university, and industry on TVET in ASEAN countries and contribution of vocational skills development to inclusive industrial growth and transformation. Please welcome Dr. Nguyen Tan Tui from Ho Chi Minh City, University of Technology and Education, Vietnam.
Thank you and good morning, everyone. Dear distinguished, I'm very honored to participate in this conference, and I hope the information I share below will be useful for all of you. So now I would like to share my slides. Yes, my presentation today has four parts. The first is introduction, the second contribution of people provided to the transformation of companies. The first part is some key findings, and the fourth part, the suggestion we want to give out. The first, we all know that vocational education training support industry in assessing workers with the appropriate knowledge, skill, and attitude. Why do I say that? Because in general, vocational education and training prepares people for work and develop citizen skills to remain employable and respond to the needs of the economy. Bank providers being provide with essential skills and enhancing their employability, supporting their personal development, and also that boost company performance, competitiveness, research, and innovation. The second, professional skill development needs strengthened in Vietnam to addressing the skill shortage. Because in 2020, a group of experts in Hanoi said that the vocational training system in Vietnam needs reforming to create a highly skilled human resource that meets the requirements of the labor market in increasingly integrated international markets. And talk about industrial transformation. That means we want to talk about the proactive and coordinated approach to leverage digital technology to create the step change improvements in industrial operations. So we want to evaluate the relationship between vocational skills development program and the sustainable development and transformation of the manufacturing industry. In our research, we talk about the contribution of TVET providers to transformation of companies. And now let's look provide the skill formation system. We think the skill formation system in Vietnam includes technical vocational education and training, TVET, university, industries associations, labor unions, and government bodies. But we want to focus on only TVET providers. Three issues are research include type of training, feature of the training, and cooperation with industries. The first type of training, we focus on formal training, informal training, and non-formal training. And there are some information of formal training. Formal training include job training, classroom training, massive open online course, virtual classroom training, and webinar training. And informal training includes on-the-job training, expert training. Non-formal training includes experience training and daily life training. And about the features of training, we focus on curriculum, trainer, training, and infrastructure. E-curriculum focus on the key skills related to jobs that students will perform after they graduate. In training, we have some challenges. Limited capacity of technical skills, vocational skills, English and IT skills, scientific and technological research, and also pedagogical skills. Why it's limited? Because some teachers and trainers, they have to improve their knowledge, their skill, and their experience day by day. But in TVET, we easily see the trainer do not have much do not have many choice to upskilling level and preparing the higher education level. About training, we have some problems need to be solved. The first, low quality of the student entering. The second, student lack the will to complete the program. That means some students they do not complete their training course or they quit when they when they are studying. And because the students have less need to advance to a higher level of study. That means after they graduate, they think all they need are enough for the industry. So they stop the formal training. And infrastructure, we also have two problems. The first, investment capital is highly depend on state capital, and the funding application process is very complicated. The cooperation with the industries, we focus on three issues. The first type of cooperation includes mainly focus on three main activities: recruitment, internship opportunity, practical experience for students. Cooperation intention, we stand on both sides. Invest side, the invest college actively cooperate with enterprise, but from the business side, cooperation with that is less common. This means the small companies, they do not care much about the best activities or how to how to cooperate with the best college. But the bigger the wider enterprise, they concerned about the cooperation with best college very much. And some challenges in this relationship is the cognitive legislation in cooperation, the limited resource for cooperation and the gap between training requirements and training results. So from that, two main things emerge. The first, we want to answer the question: should the professional skill development program of TVET provider contribute to the skill needs of the company? And the second, the level of contribution between the pre-employment vocational skill development program and in-employment vocational skill development program. We want to compare because the pre-employment vocational skill development program belongs to the TVET provider, and in-employment vocational development program almost belong to the company. And there are some key findings we want to share from our research. First, I want to introduce the research. A survey was conducted to analyze the relationship between vocational skills, industrial growth, and transformation in periods 2017 and 2020, and focus on the staff of 162 companies in three sectors: the garment, the electronics, and food processing industries. And the survey was structured in three main categories. Focus of skill labor. We want to discover about the skill of labor in companies. Do they meet? Do they meet the requirements of the company? And the second, industrial growth and transformation. we focus on the growth and the expansion and the professional skill development program refers to the industrial growth and transformation. How the vocational skill development program refers to the industrial growth and transformation. In 152 companies include 40 electronic companies, 56 processing companies, and 56 government companies. And here are some results we want to share. The first, you can see about the skill workforce shortage in this chart. With the 5 positions of the company, we take observation include general worker, operator, supervisor, technicians, and high managers. And the results we collect is you can see 4 positions: operator, supervisor, technicians, and high managers. They all have difficult in skill. That means they feel difficult to do their mission, to solve their problem, and to complete their working. And the supervisor has the difficult, nearly 80% answer. And the second is technician, nearly 7%, and the high manager, more than 40% answer. The effect of the workforce shortage on the growth and expansion of the companies, we can see here in operator, supervisor, technician, and high managers. They said the skill shortage will affect negative to the growth and expansion of the company. And in operator position, the thing the skill workforce shortage is a significant negative effect to the growth and expansion of the company. So we can see operator is very important position in the company because they do the operations of the company. And next, okay. So it cannot move. Yeah. Okay, I will continue. The kind of skill processes on the business operations also have the same answers from operator, supervisor, technicians, and high managers. They think the skill process has negative effects to business operations. Yeah. And the VSD program contribution to meet the skill needs of companies, we compare between the pre-employment program and employment program. With the supervisor, when we ask them about the VSD program contribution to meet the skill needs of companies, they said the pre-employment program only 12.88% significantly. yes, but the in-employment program have 57% significant. And in practice, we have the answers, similar answers. The significant contribution of the BSc program belongs to the in-employment program. The higher managers also think about the in-employment program, the significant contribution more than the employment program. So from that, we think the skilled workforce shortage highlight the BSc program of best provider and universities do not match the requirements of industry and impact negatively on company operations, growth, and expansion. So we give some suggestions to enhancing collaboration between training provider and companies. The first suggestion to training providers. Training providers need to enhance the collaboration through curriculum development. That means we need to invite companies take part into curriculum development because they know exactly the skill, the knowledge the employee needs to develop when they come to their company. Second, internship. Internship model is very popular. The third, sharing of expertise, and the fourth, work placement in companies. That means each company needs have a center, the training center in companies, and training providers will take part into the training center in companies. The suggestion to companies, they need to establish closer links with TVET providers to determine the essential fundamental skills presented in the BSc program. Because we well know that the university and TVET always slow more than the company development. So if they make a link between together, the company will have the TVET determine the essential skills, and the TVET will put on the essential skills to build the curriculum and develop the program. And the third suggestion we want to give to the government. The government has a responsibility to standardize and update BSc program based on regional and international standards. And the government also creates legal framework and policy to support the relationship between best providers and companies. Thank you for your watching, and that's all my knowledge and my experience in the short research. And I want to share with you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Nguyen Tan Tui, for your research findings, for your sharing on research findings on industry transformation and contribution of TVET provider in Vietnam. Okay, now we move on to our fourth and our last speaker for today webinar session. Our fourth speaker is Associate Professor Dr. Jun Lee from Tongji University, China. Associate Professor Dr. Jun Lee will present his topic on fostering quality TVET teachers training program, novice teacher training in Shanghai. Allow me to introduce Associate Professor Dr. Jun Lee. Associate Professor Dr. Jun Lee currently is at Institute of Vocational and Technical Education, CDIBB, Tongji University, China, since 2012. He has been appointed as Associate Professor since 2016 from the same university. Associate Professor Dr. Jun Lee is a Director of Institute of Education, Economics and Management, CDIBB, Tongji University. He is also a member of Academic Committee of the Chinese Vocational and Technical Education Society, a member of ASEAN Association of Society of Vocational Education and Training. Dr. Jun Lee gained his PhD degree from University of Cologne in 2012. He is interested in relationship between vocational education and industry, vocational education policy, as well as international comparative vocational education. Dr. Jun Lee is in charge of several national and ministerial research projects, and he has been published various papers in Chinese, English, and German journals. Dr. Jun Lee also served as the Associate Editor of International Journal of Training and Development since 2020. Without further ado, Associate Professor Dr. Jun Lee, please welcome.
Thank you, Chairman, and good morning or good day. And thank you for inviting me to present our findings concerning the teacher training programs in Shanghai. Here's the basic structure. I would like to give an overview of TVET teacher education and training in China, and then I will go deeply into the program in Shanghai. And firstly, the overview of TVET teacher education and training in China. With the expansion of TVET in the past 3 decades or so, there has been a strong and increasing demand for TVET teachers. But the majority of TVET teachers are recruited from college without much teacher education. So basically, they graduate from electronics or engineering majors or humanities, social sciences, and then they become teacher without much training. And it is difficult to recruit teachers from TVET teacher education institutions, and also difficult to recruit teachers with industry experiences, because for teacher training education institutions, there are not many, as I will refer to later on. And teachers from industry, they are not motivated to come to vocational schools, for example, at least in the past. And then the quality of the professional teachers is hard to meet the standards of to meet the needs of TVET. There is a shortage of the so-called double qualified teacher, namely that a teacher who has qualification of both a teacher as well as a technician. So it is expected in China that the teachers can not only teach, but also perform the industrial tasks. But it is very difficult to meet this requirement. And also it is difficult to recruit teachers with theoretical and practical teaching skills. Basic information about the TVET teacher education training in China. There are 61 training bases in the undergraduate institutions nationwide. So it's bachelor level. And there are 37 undergraduate institutions under the, it's specifically universities and undergraduate programs, and 49 universities enroll TVET teacher trainings at master's level. And there are 12 independent TVET, teacher training colleges. These are the main bodies which train vocational school teachers in China. 12 independent colleges that just do vocational teacher training. They also do something more than that, but their main task is to train vocational school teachers. And there are various TVET teacher training measures that are promoted by central and provincial government, but the quality of them differs from each other. And in the past couple of years, there like 100 double qualified teacher training bases was established, and there are also 100 national enterprise practice bases nationwide. So these enterprise training bases, they are located or established in the companies, and the education bureaus or ministries send teachers to these bases to practice practical skills on a regular basis. But there are despite so many institutions and the measures, there are some major challenges. Firstly, as I mentioned just now, the quality differs from provinces to provinces. There are some that's a good one, really good. There are some that are not very good. And for most TVET schools, vocational schools, the training is normally organized by the local Bureau of Education. But this bureau, they are responsible for education in general. So when they organize training, they do not take into consideration what is going on in TVET. So they just offer training, teaching methods, understand education psychology, understanding students, but not so much to the needs of the vocational schools. And then training content and method is very often theory-oriented, and it does not help the participants very much. So these are the basic backgrounds of the TVET teacher training. And now I'm coming to the novice TVET teacher training in Shanghai. So the new teachers, the fresh, the teachers who just became teachers. Many of them just left college. So some basic background information. In Shanghai, we have a relatively systematic TVET teacher training system, and organized by both universities, but also vocational colleges. So different actors, different institutions are involved in this process in teacher training. And relatively, we have a rather comprehensive training contents and areas. For example, pedagogic content knowledge, professional competence, IT-related competence, etc. So these trainings in these areas are provided on a regular basis. And there have been relatively strong supports from universities and research institutions, because in a city like Shanghai, we have several good universities which also do education research and vocational education research, and also research institutions. For example, Shanghai Institute of Education Science. And all these institutions, they provide strong supports. And there have been empirical evidence showing that the novice teacher, they face various difficulties in transition. Like I mentioned, many of them did not have any training in education, in teacher education, and they have very little knowledge about vocational education in general. And there has been a lack of guidance and support. And very often, these novice teachers, they very often face a very heavy workload. So the government decided to initiate this program with the following objectives. Firstly, to raise new teachers' awareness of education, teaching students, and the major of the secondary TVET. So they need to be aware of this a bit more. And they need to improve, we want to improve new teachers' theoretical knowledge of TVET, teaching ability, capacity or capability for moral education, which is now quite important in China, and of course, professional practice ability, so practical competencies. And we also want to help new teachers to adapt to teaching and learning in secondary schools as soon as possible, and then lay a solid foundation for their professional development later on. So to achieve these objectives, the following measures were taken. And the training content consists of 4 modules, so 4 big areas, including the first one, theories of TVET. The second one, teaching skills. The third one, capacity for moral education. The fourth one, professional practice ability, with 520 credit hours in total. So approximately 500 hours, you can say. And the training period is over a year. And normally, these teachers would go to a place, a university or a college or even companies to carry out training every Wednesday each week. So each week they will, out of 5 working days, 1 working day they will spend on this, they will do this. And for teachers of non-specialist subjects, training includes modules on the theory of TVET, teaching skills, capacity for moral education, and basic models on professional practice. And for teachers of specialist subjects, except for the 4 models above, they have to attend professional practice improvement model and the professional qualification certification model. So namely, they here a little bit wrong translation, it's occupation. So namely, the objective is for them, it is hoped that they can have a occupational certificate, a vocational certificate after the training, but not everyone can achieve that. And these are the basic structures or the concrete contents of the models. So on the left, you can see it's model 1, it's theories of TVET. And the core curriculum include current situation and trends, vocational pedagogy, TVET psychology, professional development for school teachers. And then the course content, you can see development from an international perspective. We are, at least in Shanghai, where we are interested in what's going on in the world, what's going on in Europe, in the US, in ASEAN, for example. And then also we will see what's the developments like in Shanghai, and the curriculum theory, teaching theory, and then psychology, and then the professional standards and career development, etc. So you can see for each content we have approximately 4 hours, but not always. So the second module, as you can see, is teaching skills. And the core curriculum include teaching design, TVET teacher methods, and information technology. Let me see if there are any. It's information and technology applications. So as you can see, the course content including teaching requirements, course objectives, design, selection and organization of teaching content, teaching assessments, design, teaching plan design, etc. Is there anything wrong? Let me see. Okay. And then information IT related applications, information-based teaching design methods, development of modern teaching media, information, technology and curriculum integration, etc. And still the module 2, this is still module 2, teaching skills, so teaching practice. So we want to, how can I say, to reinforce their teaching practice. So there are, for example, development of teaching media, analysis of implementation of project-based based teaching methods. So there are several teaching methods, and also investigation teaching method, brainstorming, and task-led teaching learning, etc. So there are there are five more here. I didn't list because of the limitations of space here, and also then the presentation of the seminar. And these methods we have tried to learn where in China we are trying to learn a lot from the German example of the different vocational pedagogic contents. So the German vocational education, they have a rather systematic teaching methods. Here we try to borrow their ideas, and actually I know that from Ravte, from the past experiences, and the ASEAN countries have also tried to learn more experiences from Germany, and we have also been doing that for quite a long time. And then the third model is capacity for moral education. Well, this is more like of a Chinese thing, so I would not go deep into that, but you can see there's also theory and practice. And so no, I will not go deep into that. But notice, it's also a lot of content. It's 80 hours. So when I say moral education, it's actually also related to what we very often say class management. So in China, we try to manage the way of teaching in the how can I say, managing the students in the classroom or in any teaching settings. And the fourth model is professional practice ability. Then this is very this is very practice oriented. So we want the teachers to, like the core curriculum suggests, we want to have them to have a higher or better awareness of industry and companies. So industry developments and trends, for example, the culture of corporates, for example, corporate culture or so, and then research for occupations in the corporate. And we all know that in order to decide what is the objective of curriculum, you need to look at industry. You need to have a process of analyze industry requirements, and then develop a curriculum. So here we want to go deeper into that. And then the professional qualification certification, as I mentioned, for teachers in the subject matter in automobile, in electronics, they need to, it is desired that they acquire the qualification or certificates after the training. So these are the contents concerning the management of the overall program. It is as follows. Relevant, this entire work is carried out by Teacher Training Center of the Shanghai, the City Education Commission, and organized, so carried out by this training center. And it is organized, concretely organized by, there are several teacher training bases. Here we have Tongji University, we have also one national and also Shanghai teaching training base. And we also cooperate with many secondary TVET schools. So they also participate. And some of schools, they send their more experienced and expert teachers to participate in this process. And each secondary TVET school formulates a professional development plan for each new teacher. And the headmaster actually the director, so the director of the teacher is the first responsible person, and each teacher, they are assigned a professional teaching mentor, and also there's a classroom management mentor to each teacher. Then teachers who already have a relevant vocational qualification at intermediate level or above, and they don't need to attend for the relevant model. So it's a little bit flexible. So for teachers from the industry, they don't have to repeat that experiences. So here are some of the achievements, challenges, and the improvements. So achievements, firstly, we have done some empirical investigation towards this training, and it suggests the following achievements. So most teachers, they are, I would say the majority of the teachers are satisfied with the training, and they felt they have learned something. So most participants find the content of the overall training relevant to their daily work and helpful for their personal development. So generally speaking, it's a positive feedback. And we in Shanghai or in China, we have many various teacher competitions. For example, teaching methods competition and IT related teaching competence, etc. And several of these novice teachers, of course, not all of them, but some of them participated in this training and won competitions. And it's not very easy because in many of the competitions, you see a lot of more experienced teachers taking part in it. And it's not easy for these novice teachers to win these competitions. However, there are some challenges and difficulties. Despite the fact that they find it satisfactory and helpful, many participants also find the training very long and can be exhausting. So it lasts for a year, and for an entire year, they have to always come to a training base or university to somewhere, and it's quite exhausting for them. And because they still face heavy workload at home, they are very often assigned a lot of work at school, at the school they are working at. So this is cooperation. Schools allows them to come to training bases to take part in training, but still maybe school management is a little bit sometimes not very organized. So they still face this heavy workload. And as some of you may know that Shanghai is a rather big city, and since they need to go to a certain place to carry out training, I mean, before the pandemic, at least, the travel within the city can be very time consuming. And then the overall training period is long, is too long. Many of the participants find this way. And some of the training content, the training content is helpful, is useful, is good, but not all of them. Some of them are good, some of them are not very helpful. And relatively low percentage of training content in subject-related matters. That is one of the big complaints. But as you all know, that it's difficult to organize subject-related area trainings. So if we want to organize that, we cannot organize the training for the entire city. I mean, it's a city of the population of more than 20 million people, so it's difficult. And then vocational education theory can be difficult to understand. Some of theory content is too deep, and also given the circumstances of training, the training is supposed to be practical oriented. It's not to be too deep into theory. And then some training content can be too demanding for novice teachers, can be too difficult. And it also led to pressures for teachers. They need to perform in certain, how can I say, not inspection, but performance in between. So it could be difficult for them. And because of these challenges and difficulties, we have made some improvements. So firstly, adjustments of training contents and modules. Some of them, if the teachers say these are not very helpful, so we will maybe remove them or reduce the time of it to better meet the requirements of the participants. And strengthening mentor guidance and support. So each participant is provided 2 mentors, one concerning professional competence, one concerning the class management skills. It is the original plan was not so clear, and right now the plan made it even clear. So one teacher, they have 2 mentors. Normally, this professional competence mentor is coming from another school, coming from who is an expert teacher normally, and the class management skills normally comes from the same school. And then we have introduced new models such as teaching video analysis combined with the traditional lesson review. Lesson review, namely, it means the teacher, they present a lesson without teaching it. They present in front of the experts, and they will present how they plan to carry out the lesson. So these contents are actually quite from what I see is helpful, and the teachers find it very also interesting. So we also record all the some of the teaching videos and analyze it from a more scientific basis. And here are some implications from this. Is a little bit like my interpretation or from my reflection, is that firstly, I think that for teachers, for these novice teachers, new teachers, the work-training balance is crucial for the success of the program, because they are new teachers. They are in the transition period from colleges to vocational schools, and it could be difficult for them if the training is too heavy or work is too heavy, and they have to do both very well, and namely sometimes under pressure, it could be difficult. And this balance is only possible with the support from government and the understanding of the school management. So the schools they are working at should understand that these measures, this training is helpful for the teachers. It's not like an interruption of their daily work. So they should support it and understand it and support it. And meeting novice teachers' individualized needs is of great value, which can be realized through more individualized accompanying support from mentors, experts, and colleagues. So the original plan was a rather, how can I say, centralized, unified program. But gradually we realized that the program, the accompanying supports should be more individualized to meet their individual needs. So some teachers face more difficulties in some areas, some not the same. And the continuous improvement are necessary for the sustainability of this program. So there should always be some improvements depending on the situation, taking into account the development of technology, etc., etc. And then support from the scientific community also plays an important role. We, as university researchers and other institutions, and we need to look into this program and provide professional recommendation concerning how to improve it, how to make the program more flexible and reasonable. Okay, thank you for your attention. And this is all. Thank you.
Thank you, Associate Professor Dr. Jun Lee, for sharing current China or specifically Shanghai on TVET Teachers Training Program. So thank you to all of our speakers for their fruitful insight about our theme of webinar for today, fostering quality TVET postgraduate program. Now we move on to our next session, which is a Q&A session, or perhaps maybe a discussion session between audience with the speakers. I open the question to if any audience to ask live, or maybe if he or she would like to type the question in our chat platform, please do so. I may read your question right away. Okay.
I have a question.
Yes, please. Please introduce yourself,
Yes.
your name, and from which institution, from what country. Thank you.
Okay, right. I'm Cordelia from University Kuala Lumpur. I'm very interested to find out about the Thai presentation on agriculture, yeah, because I think that's part of TVET, and we're talking about agriculture as industry and then also greening TVET, etc. So I'd like to ask them, like, how do they promote the research, yeah, in in agro whatever, at the postgraduate level? How do they promote and get students to do research in that area? Yeah, that's my question. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Cordia, from University Kuala Lumpur, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, from
Okay.
UNICAL.
So,
Thank
just for your information, I just got notice that Assistant Professor Dr. Somai is not around, but someone from University of Raja Mangala Technology University will represent to answer your question. Please, Dr.
Thank you.
Pakon, or maybe.
Okay, my name is Pakon Kiat. I'm the Vice Dean from Raja Mangala University. Maybe I may have share some idea about that model. That model is the national policy that the Thai government is push the policy that to the all universities, and the strategic policy is we have to use the research to develop and to implement that policy through the communities. That is the doctors of my presentation is just like a big picture of the national policy. That is only the example for our research. Maybe just and I would like to say you more about, we have many university in Thailand. Then all of us have to divide the area. I mean, the targeted areas for Raja Mangala University, we focus on 5 provinces, and Prajiburi is one of our targeted areas. Why we focus on the Prajiburi. And Prajiburi is the big city of the bamboo of Thailand. Then why we imply this research on the bamboo, because that the big city of bamboo is there in Prajiburi. That's just my idea to share to you. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Pakon Kiat, for your feedback. Okay. Any question again from? Yeah, thank you, Professor Dr. Who asked the question, who just now asked the question. Is there any? If not, perhaps maybe I just raise up one question as a moderator. Perhaps maybe this question may be suitable for Professor Datuk Emeritus, if you don't mind to share your thought on the question. Excuse me, Prof. Datuk, if you don't mind, if you can share your thought on the effect of university or program ranking. So even now, Malaysia, I believe most Asian countries are looking forward for to be sitting in the best ranking of even in a higher education or in QS or whatsoever, towards the internalization of the postgraduate TVET program. Prof. Datuk, please, your thought.
Yeah, I would like to state here that this is my thought. This is not the UTHM thought or stand on this issue. As TVET practitioner, I think that ranking should not be our priority, even though it is at a postgraduate level. However, we should do our job correctly, and we deliver. And I think along that way that we move on organically. And what it means is that the ranking follow through. So that's my thought on the issue. And that was also the thought that I had when I was the Vice Chancellor, that let's do our job, and this is for national interest. As far as ranking is concerned, we don't reject it, but we don't we don't take it as a priority to the extent that we spend a lot of money on that for the sake of ranking. So thank you very much, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Dato, for your thought. Yeah, I mean, because unfortunately, like Malaysia, we looking forward for best ranking universities. Okay, but on top of that, for me myself, I do agree with Dato. Perhaps maybe for postgraduate program, maybe we should more enhance towards the quality of the content itself rather than focusing on the ranking. So in the chat platform, we have a question. Perhaps I just read, and then maybe perhaps this question may be suitable for our speakers from Vietnam, Dr. Tan Tui. Research funding is considered as one of the major issues in TVET. Major issues in TVET research. In your opinion, what mechanism or strategy can be used to encourage industry or private sector to provide funding for TVET postgraduate research? So perhaps maybe Dr. Nguyen Tan can respond to this question.
Yes, thank you for the question. I think to encourage the industry or private sector to provide funding for TVET postgraduate research.
It's not simple or easy because the funding for TVET research mainly belong to the government, but the private sector can provide funding for TVET research by the cooperate with the TVET. For example, when they want to transformation, that means they will to change technology. They want to increase the quality and the quantity of employees. So they need to make a relationship with TVET provider. And if the TVET provider could make some research on technology, so they can cooperate with the private sector to promote the research results and can apply to the industries. And I think we have many sources to promote funding for TVET research. For my research, we have a fund from the international organizations, and they have us to make the survey to make the survey to process the data, and also the publication. So I think we need to connect with the international organizations. Yes, because I'm just a lecturer, so I just say my points like that. Yes, thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Nguyen Tan Tui, for her response or her feedback. Perhaps maybe Dr. Pakon Kiat would like to add some more experience in Thailand.
Yes, thank you. In the case of Thailand, the research funds it's focused on the national policy. For example, BCG or SDG, that is very important to us, and especially in our country, we also focus on the targeted industry that Dr. Samai said. That is the national policy that's focused to the research. And the second is how to grant the research. In our country, the government will grant the research if you have the the users, the actual users, is main users to use your research result. This is the requirements. The second is your programs. I mean, research program have to be from the private sectors. This is the second. And the third, if possible, some cases that the funding maybe came from also private sectors. This is optional. In Thailand, we do like this. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Pakonkia. Yes.
I'm sorry, Dr. Moderator. I would like to add some the Ravte activity. We have the fun exploring group, which we have to invite the lecturer or lecturer or researcher from the Ravte University members. That group is aimed to some kind of fight of the international funding organization, just like USAID or Spencer Foundation. So we would like to ask anyone who interested to develop the research project or any project that could be obtain fund from the international funding organization. Please contact Dr. Pakonkia and leave your email address to Dr. Pakonkia so we can invite you to join the Ravte Exploring funding team. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Prof. Dr. Siri, for your feedback. Okay. Go back to our chat platform. Okay, perhaps maybe this there are two questions related to Shanghai experience. Perhaps maybe this question will forward to Professor Dr. Jun Lee. Referring to the TVET teacher training in Shanghai, is it compulsory to all the teacher or is it optional? And the second one, in this VUCA world, what are the steps taken for institution to cater or produce quality TVET teacher in Shanghai? Over to you, Prof. Lee.
Thank you. It's not compulsory, but normally it is suggested that the schools will send their teachers to this program. And it's very often there's pressure there. There's pressure from the school or the peer group that well, maybe for example a school recruit 5 new teachers and 4 of them go to this program and one that didn't go, and of course there's this pressure. And concerning quality, I would have to say it's the quality assurance mechanism is not there. It's we don't have a very strong quality assurance measure, but in a way we try to always improve the program and also to adjust the content of the training according to the feedbacks we got from the participants. So there is some investigation, and the Shanghai Education Commission, it's namely the Bureau of Education, they send questionnaires, and then they could come feedbacks, and then a group of experts and the school directors would look at this suggestion, and they would, of course, they would talk to teachers and then say, okay, how we can improve it. But concerning a very strong quality assurance measure, I would say it's not there. But still, the quality kind of improves. Thank you.
Thank you, Associate Professor Dr. Lee. Now we move on to the next question. Okay, it's become hotter and hotter in our chat platform. All right, so I just read one question from Dr. Nur Khairul Izzah. Thank you to all the speakers for your insightful talks. I would like to give my overall reflection. I think all of the panels have agreed upon one important agenda, which is problem-solving skill. This is one to see the actual local problem and to see the opportunities we can create from something cheap, but no other people can replace. Two, if the end product of TVET education is to fulfill the market needs, the market itself needs some paradigm change. Therefore, it is more viable to work on creating own path, not to compete, as in the blue ocean strategy. This implies that entrepreneurial innovation skill must be promoted. Most importantly, from seeing what is most needed in the society, but it is still absent from the market. In short, it is about the teaching of thinking. So perhaps maybe Prof. Dato' Dr. Wahid would like to respond to this feedback.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chairman. I think reflecting upon the issue of thinking, yes, I agree with, and actually this was spoken back, I think 10 years ago by Tony Buzan, which he said that the business of the day actually is about how we manage thinking. But as far as, because thinking is very wide, spectrum of what we should be doing. But I would like just to emphasize here that the thinking for TVET is slightly different from the thinking of the scientist way of doing thinking. That's why that I was suggesting that for TVET that we should focus on innovation and not on fundamental research. Yes, TVET need badly of research, but it should be on the applied research and it should be on the innovation research and not on the fundamental research or scientific or blue or what we call high sky and blue sky research. And for that matter, I think that's why I was proposing that the higher level of postgraduate courses, that is on the master, that we should be focusing more. I'm not saying that the modules of coaching, teaching, delivering is not important, but having to produce something, a new way of doing things, or a new what we call work processes is so important that if we don't let our thinkers do their way, making their way into that, then perhaps I think we will be losing track. Especially I'm talking about Malaysia. Of my concern is that there wouldn't be, the industry wouldn't be that challenging, it wouldn't be that, good for our country. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Dato'. Okay, perhaps maybe one more last question before we end up the session. Okay, it's a question from Ahmad Zaki. How TVET postgraduate program could contribute towards commercialization? I open this question to any of the speaker who would like to respond. I repeat, the question is how TVET postgraduate program could contribute towards commercialization. Maybe Dato'?
It doesn't mean that I have commercialized many things. It's just because that I've said. But what has been presented by Prof. Somai just now is a reflection of how bamboo industry is taken up by the university and managed to, commercialize products, overseas and perhaps globally. I think that is exactly what I was proposing, that we should talk about innovation. So therefore, the challenge is for the professors or the TVET practitioner to engage with the industries, to engage, of course, with the institution knowledge, and of course, with the technology startup. What is important is that we must go through this and train our youngsters to have the technology startup, and that's when I think that we could move on to have our product commercialized. So I guess this is something that is not impossible, but we need to train for example, for a master students to have at least. And now at UTHM, I think even undergraduate students, the first year one, they have got to what we call officially open up a company for their business. And I guess this is for innovation. So that's the level of seriousness that we are taking at UTHM, at least at this point in time. Thank you.
Thank you, Professor Emeritus Datuk Dr. Wahid Razali, for his feedback. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, we have come to the end of our first Ravte webinar session. Once again, on behalf of the organizing committee, I would like to thank to all the speakers, all four speakers, so Professor Dr. Somai, Professor Emeritus Datuk Dr. Wahid bin Razali, Dr. Nguyen Tan Tui from Vietnam, and Associate Professor Dr. Jun Lee for their inputs, and hopefully will benefit all the audience in their near future, especially when we talk about the future of TVET postgraduate program. With that, I pass back to our MC, Dr. Yusmawati Yusof. Over to you. Thank you very much.
All right, we have completed all the presentation with the great and formative sharing from all speakers. Thank you to all speakers for the wonderful and inspiring session. Thank you, Associate Professor Dr. Badaruddin. I sincerely wish that everyone benefit from this session, and I also believe that the audience as well as myself agree that this has been a very formative and fruitful sharing. Ladies and gentlemen, we have almost reached to the end of the session, but before we leave, I'd like to make an announcement that starting from tomorrow, our faculty is organizing the 8th World Conference on till 14th of December. We have sharing from the keynote speakers, we have short on TVET educators, and then we have also 2 forum sessions and also parallel session for paper presentation. So all are invited to join this conference. So for the further information, you can search from that chat box. I believe they will share the link for the conference. On behalf of the organizer, I would like to thank for your time and support in attending this webinar. And please do not forget to fill the attendance form. Thank you very much for your participation in this session, and thank you again to our respectful speakers. I hope everybody enjoy and benefited from this session. On behalf of the organizer, I would like to apologize for any drawback, and we really appreciate for your participation. So I should end this session. Thank you very much and have a good day ahead. Wabillahi taufiq wa hidayah. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.